Business Brain, the show for entrepreneurs episode. I don't like saying that. No. We're going to do it this way. Here we go. Business Brain, episode 514 for Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. Folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few topics, we dissect them, we crunch them, we analyze them, we dismiss them, we embrace them, all so that we can each tune our business brains together every single episode. Sponsors for this episode include a new sponsor, GoSquaredAway.com, which empowers highly educated military spouses to be your trusted remote executive assistants. And Shopify.com/businessbrain is where you're going to go to sign up for your $1 per month trial period and take your business to the next level. We'll talk more about both of those in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And out here in Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. How goes it, man?
It keeps going. That's great. The only thing it can do. I mean, like, as we discussed last episode, I just, like, I got to keep my foot on the pedal. That's really what it
perfect.
is.
I love that. So before we get into the main topic, which I'm definitely interested in talking about, apathy and
employee apathy.
Yeah. I think it's a big deal. I want to share a tip that I've been having some great success with standing out. And so I'm trying to build my fan base, not my followers, but my fans on the X platform, Twitter. And it's amazing. It's like a master class of any topic you want. You know, once you filter out a lot of garbage and stuff, and I'm way late to this party. That's okay. But I'm here.
The second best day is today. That's it.
Yeah, I started with 30 fans. Now I've got 540 over the last few months. So it's great.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations. That's freaking awesome. Wow.
And one of the ways that I've learned is to interact with larger accounts that talk about things that I'm interested in, business, success, building wealth, that kind of stuff, and just living a charmed life like we talk about here. So I always make the comment on this show, or I often make a comment on this show, is that, I hear something and I'll say, man, that's the t-shirt right there.
Yes.
And it's a quote. I don't know why, but I have this vision in my head of wearing this t-shirt with some quote that, whether it's live your charmed life, what's on your to-did list, all these little snappy quotations.
Yeah, the sound bites. Yeah.
Sound bites. So I started hearing these sound bites on these larger accounts on X. And so I said the same thing. I said, man, that's the t-shirt right there. And people started commenting like, I would buy that shirt. I would do that shirt. So, of course, I went up and I got a template for a t-shirt, but what I did was built a shirt that somebody's holding up so you just see their hands.
Okay, got it.
A blank shirt. I'll share a link in the show notes for a couple of examples if somebody wants to see it. But I would take that quote that they said, like this one guy who I follow, Lucas, he has this comment that just resonates with me. It was, have the courage to suck at something new. And that's what it takes. It takes courage, right? And I'm like, that's a t-shirt. So I put his quote on the t-shirt, and with his
Twitter
handle underneath it.
Yeah.
And that was my response to him. And it got thousands of views and likes and engagement. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I started doing it more. There's some other accounts that I follow, and I would be like, and I wasn't doing it just to do t-shirts. But when I read something that really resonated with me, I was like, dude, that's needs to be on the shirt. And my response would be the shirt. And so
you need to hold up a black t-shirt.
Yes.
And have somebody take a picture of you so that your face is on this.
Because that's a great idea.
Because that way it's you promoting them.
Yes.
That's, social proof, all the great things.
Yeah.
They're going to forward that along.
That's right.
You don't even need to put your name on there because they're going to forward your tweet along, your post, whatever it's supposed to call it now.
Whatever you do.
Yeah. And so it'll have your name, but then your face just starts getting in people's heads.
Yeah, that can be dangerous. But
that's on them.
Yeah. But it's worked great, and I've enjoyed it, and it's definitely made me stand out and It's great. So just got to think of something different, whether it's the way you respond, how the words that you use. You got to brand yourself, right? And whether it's whatever you do. So that just the tip. Love to hear how you make yourself stand out. Feedback at businessbrain.show.
All right, look, when we're running our businesses, it often feels like there's never enough time to tackle all the priorities, right? Like managing your inbox and schedule. Like for me, that can take a lot of time out of my day. And then balancing just professional and personal life can be difficult. The little things pile up, right? Even simple tasks can be super distracting from the important work. Things like coordinating travel or planning an event or scheduling guests for a podcast is always more complicated than I expect. And that's why I'm so excited to talk about our sponsor, Squared Away. It's brilliant. Squared Away empowers highly educated military spouses to become your trusted remote executive assistants. I love this idea. How brilliant is this, right? Military spouses, they've got that drive and dedication. It's a fantastic talent pool. Squared Away assistants specialize in giving you your time back to focus on what really matters. So whether you need administrative support for your team, an extra hand with a new project, or help with even personal priorities, Squared Away assistants anticipate your needs and let you focus on your high return tasks. They deliver top-notch work at a fraction of the cost of a full-time employee. Squared Away teammates operate in all U.S. time zones and work as W-2 employees, not contractors. And the sky's the limit. Squared Away offers custom plans to give you exactly the support your business needs to thrive. I highly recommend checking out Squared Away today. See how they can help you. Just go to GoSquaredAway.com. That's GoSquaredAway.com, GoSquaredAway.com. And our thanks to Squared Away for sponsoring this episode. About 6 years ago, I got involved with this new business. I was brought in to help make sure the money was flowing in the right direction and kind of keep things on track. And over time, responsibilities expand. One day, we were in a staff meeting. I was there with my two partners, and we decided we should add merch to one of the things that we offer, for our users. And it was obvious that it fell to me to figure this out. And it was the farthest thing from my mind. When I woke up that day, I had no idea what to do. But by the end of that day, we were selling mugs and T-shirts and, merch in our store so easily, all because I used our sponsor, Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage. Yep, they manage online and in person, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Shopify is there to help you grow. So whether you're selling shipping supplies or promoting productivity programs, hey, Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. And you can sell more with less effort now thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. No matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. And I love this about Shopify. All of my friends that use Shopify have similar stories to mine. It's fantastic because businesses that grow with Shopify. Because you're a Business Brain listener, sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right, Shannon, earlier today you mentioned mitigating employee apathy.
I didn't say it with those fancy words, but
well,
I said
that's
apathy.
how it works.
Yeah. But I always try to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, so that's clearly what's happening here. So the apathy thing is something that I've dealt with my whole life in every business. You're going to have some people that are just jacked up and passionate about their jobs, and those people are great, and you need them on your team, and they kind of rise to the top, like the cream And so, but on the other side, there's always going to be people in your companies that are just showing up for work and are hard to get excited about what they do. And so I thought it would be worth a discussion on how to minimize that or mitigate that kind of apathetic attitude. And I'm just here to collect, not necessarily I'm just here to collect a check. That doesn't mean they don't do a good job.
Sure.
And maybe part of it to recognize is that as someone that's like trying to create this great culture, I'm looking for feedback from them that maybe is not necessary, where I'm thinking, man, they're not as excited about me and this, and because there's a fine line between being an entrepreneur and talking your crazy talk to, and when I say crazy talk, I mean we're going to take over the world and let's start a new business. That's a great idea. Yeah. But when you talk your crazy entrepreneurial talk to some employees, it scares the crap out of them. And
of course it does.
They don't want to hear it. They don't think like we do, right?
Right.
And so it's not better or worse. It's just
different.
It's just different.
It is. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So how, there's some techniques that we got to get out there, and we want to hear, our listeners' feedback at businessbrain.show for what you've used to get your employees more excited about their job and what they're doing, because that it comes across, it translates to their interactions with your customers for sure.
Yes. Yep.
So what are those ways?
I mean,
I have some ideas too.
Well, one of them is keep a conversation going with your employees. Don't, I try not to micromanage, right, my people, because that's one way of creating this apathy. In fact, it's a great way of driving people out. But I've found that that can backfire too by going too far in the other direction, where I'm leaving someone kind of to their own devices too much. I hire independent people. I want people to be motivated to just get things done and focus on results and all of those things, right? Because it's how I work best. I am not a great manager, and I know this, so I need people that will drive themselves. But I have made the mistake of being too far removed and not fueling those people and then causing that apathy or sense of being lost, essentially. So that's one of the tricks that I use. Yeah. What about you?
For me, I think it's building that sense of, it's not a family. That analogy is not right, but it is I love the team analogy. We're gonna build this high quality team. We're gonna put the best players in each role.
Yep.
And I want people to look forward to coming to work. Maybe the reason isn't just the work itself, but it's the team and the people and the support they get.
Yes.
And I think part of that is, I've talked about it for years. It's the Friday barbecue. It's the, hey, I'm going to cook breakfast for everybody today. Or it's also having, and here's a fine line comment, but it's knowing more about your employees, right?
Yes.
Not just, hey, great to see you, go to work. It's, how's your kid? And, did they make the football team or the cheerleading squad? Or are they, what college are they getting into? But being genuinely interested in them, I think helps eliminate some of that apathy and gets them more invested in the work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you then create this foundation of things that you can talk with them about that's not just work. And so people love to talk about themselves. We all do.
Look,
here we are 9 years later.
We are.
That's right. But if you don't express an interest in your employees' personal lives, and you don't want to overreach,
Correct.
Obviously.
It's a fine line, right?
But if you don't express that interest, that communicates to them potentially that it's not okay to share about themselves.
Yeah.
And one way to make people feel really apathetic is to shut down every avenue that they have to to get
To share.
joy.
Yeah.
And people get joy out of sharing their
Correct.
own stories. And so opening that door up in, like you said, in a genuine way where you're actually interested, it makes things more enjoyable for your team, but it also makes things more enjoyable for you. You get that human connection.
Yeah.
And that's
good.
kind of the thing that I made this mistake early on. I made it clear to my team. I'm like, look, I don't, whatever we've each got going on at home, you leave that at home and we just worry about the work. And I couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all impacted by what goes on outside of work.
Of course. Yeah.
And
And I remember I had somebody come to me and they're like, look, I know we're not supposed to like talk about our home life, but I've got some stuff going on. I'm going to, is there any way I can get an advance on something? And it was like, oh my God. And that was my moment where I realized what a mistake I've made. And like my reason for making that decision and making that a policy was because I didn't want to hear about your troubles and all of this stuff. That was my thought.
Yeah.
But it's that fine line.
And
right?
I think that the first way to do that, or one of the ways to do it, is to create opportunity for them to share in a casual environment.
Yes.
And the way you have to do that is, whether it's the thing you do on the Friday where, like, I used to love to cook for everybody, and I'd get the barbecue out, and okay, great, and I'm going to make this, and make that. And
but it's low stakes.
Shopping. Low stakes. And I would keep my mouth shut and listen, and I'd hear everybody talking back and forth, and I'd pick up that, oh, so-and-so's mom is maybe ill, or, so-and-so's going on this trip, and you just kind of file that stuff away. So later when you're walking into the customer service department, you can, hey, how's your mom? Is it okay? Do you need any time? Do you whatever?
Yep.
Or, hey, when are you going on this? I heard you going on this trip.
Yeah.
I don't see it on the calendar, but
Yeah.
But
Should we talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah. Should we get that out there? But that, and it can't just, it's not just you, because it needs to also be from your managers. Cause you may not, as the business owner, be interacting with these folks that much.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully you're working on your business, not in it as much every day.
Yep.
And so it all kind of goes downhill. And I'm thinking about this apathy thing. That might be the best way, is making them feel connected to your business beyond. Yeah. You need to give them the training and the tools, and that's great. And I love going, like, one of the questions I always used to ask is I would just walk into the tech room. Now we were, had a bunch of technicians, and I would say, what do you need? What do you need to make your job better? Now, I'm not saying you got to increase productivity. You got to this, got to that. It's like, is there a tool that you really
How
would
can
like
I
to have?
help?
Yeah. How can I help? How can I help?
Yep.
Is there a tool? Is the bench not set up the way you, what is it? And to try to create an environment for them that they could own. And we got lots of, we did increase productivity.
Yes.
Because they felt that they were being listened to, and not like, oh, I got to work with this crummy tool or whatever, and they won't pay for a new this. And we used to use this heat gun, and it's not like a blow dryer. It's a very high end heat gun that it has a little needle type, orifice that comes out.
Yeah.
You have to use it when you're taking apart stuff or even putting things back together.
Okay.
And I noticed for a long time we only had a couple, and I walked, because they're expensive. They're like $700-800. And I walk into the lab and was like, why is there like, what's going on? And for when we were of a certain size, you only needed a couple. But as the business changed and we got more into glass business, where there was tons of adhesive, of course we needed more of them. And I just I was like, well, we're going to buy one for everybody. I don't care if we need 25 or 30 of them. We're going to find a way to get them. And that changed the whole dynamic, because they could feel independent and they weren't like waiting on it. We invested in them.
Yeah. I find with things like that, it's easy for the team to presume that the status quo is how things will be, and they need to operate within the status quo. And there is some truth to that, right? Like you can't just change everything every day to accommodate whatever the needs of that particular task are. The problem with that it doesn't need to remain that way forever. Today we need to get through with the status quo. So this is what we have. Here's the problem at hand.
Yeah.
We got to solve it with what we got to deal. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we always have to deal. And, we've got a lot of custom software that we use internal to our business, FileMaker databases and web-based software that we've built and, all these tools. And I find that I have to sometimes really engage because I ask, is there any points of friction? Oh, no, it's fine. It's like, okay. And then I just sort of watch over somebody's shoulder, talk to them about their workflow. It's like, oh my gosh, if I had to do that every day, the next thing I would do is fix the tool so that it operates in a much smoother way for you. Let me do that. And in our businesses, I have the opportunity because I'm a nerd. I can make some of those tweaks myself, or I can make them happen pretty quickly. And I'll do that with someone. They'll be working in our FileMaker database and jumping through 3 hoops where I know they could jump through 1. And I'll be like, hang on, wait 5 minutes. And then, okay, try this now. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That little bit of time invested, helps mitigate employee apathy.
Yes.
But it also sends the message of, hey, some of the things that are friction points in our day can go away.
Yeah.
But you've got to speak up about them.
Well, that's also a testament to once in a while you should step back in and do some of those jobs, right? And so you can see the steps they go through, because what worked at one point in time, and that now as your business continues to change, stuff never stays the same.
No.
And you're using I could tell you example after example, the shipping system that allowed you to ship, 200 orders a day is not the same shipping system to ship 2,000 orders a day.
Correct.
It'll drive you nuts.
It'll drive you nuts.
But you got to know that your employees often won't speak up. And especially if you're hiring quickly and trying to fill your warehouse with people to ship those 2,000 orders, they're not going to come in and say, hey, I've got a better way to do it. Or, they're going to be like, this is the way they told me.
This is the way I've always done it. I just got to deal.
I've got to deal with it. So stepping back in. So in recognizing their humanity, really important part. Look at that. I got a thumbs up bubble. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
I see it. Most of the listeners, in fact, all of the listeners won't see it.
Dang.
But if they're watching the videos that we're putting out on YouTube, they will.
Oh yeah, the listeners, of course, they would see it. But anyway, so it's important to recognize that it starts with us. It's not the employee's fault they're apathetic about your business. It's your fault.
It's your fault.
Your supervisors, your managers, and your processes and your crummy systems, if you even have any.
Yeah.
So figure that out, engage with them, learn about them. I used to love, it's the WAB, walking around the block. Grab an employee and go walk around the block and talk about what's bugging you. But get them out of their seat, whatever they're doing, and go walk around the block and say, hey, I've been thinking about this, and I've noticed that we're stumbling here. Our our quality's gone downhill here. What do you think? And how do we fix this? It works out great. So making people feel like they're listened to is another big one as well.
Makes a huge difference.
Tell us.
Feedback at businessbrain.show. Let us know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what mistakes have you made, what have you learned from those mistakes. Again, feedback at businessbrain.show. Make sure to check out our sponsors, GoSquaredAway.com and Shopify.com/businessbrain, and keep on living that charmed life. We'll see you on Friday.